Hi, everyone, and viewers in the Americas and around the world. My name is Doug Ferber from Tieline. I'm with Jacob Daniluck, our tech sales expert in Indianapolis. And we've got with us Brian Cunningham, that's chief engineer for Crawford Broadcasting in Western New York, which includes Buffalo and Rochester. And hi, Brian, how are you doing? What's happening in Buffalo today?
Well, the sun's out, the birds are singing, and there's no snow, so it's a great day in Buffalo.
Has it ever snowed in July up there?
Not that I'm aware of, but we've had snow at least up until Mother's Day, which is generally in May. So I mean, June and July is not far away.
All right, so you've been around for a long time. You've seen some evolution in kind of what your job is, that it's now as much of an IT professional as an RF guy.
Right.
You've seen a lot in your career. Is this pandemic the craziest thing you've ever seen, or has there been something else like it? And if so, tell me.
Nothing ever like the pandemic that we've experienced, since March. It caught a lot of broadcasters off guard, and there were a lot of people scrambling to keep their employees safe, but yet keep product on the air. And we were very fortunate here at Crawford that we already had a system in place that had been tested, and we didn't miss a lick. I mean, programming went on day to day as if nothing was going on in the outside world, and the average listener could not tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But yet our hosts were sitting at home on their couch, eating potato chips and doing their daily show. And Tieline was a big part of that.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, we use Tieline exclusively for all of our remotes. We use it for any outside audio. We do a daily show from our Rochester facility. He hosts the morning show here on our Buffalo station, 7 hours a day. And all of that's done, using the Bridget. And I mean, it is rock solid. And it's just like having the operator standing right here in our studios.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's phenomenal. We had tried, other IP codecs, prior to Tieline, and there's nothing can hold a candle to you guys.
What are the specific benefits that you find that kind of set us apart?
Reliability. Reliability is number one, and technical support is number two. I mean, it's a close second. I know that if we have an issue or have a question, you guys are a phone call away. And you never fail to, assist me in any way with any of our equipment, to troubleshoot a problem or to teach us how to better use, the Bridget equipment. And, it's phenomenal because, a lot of companies are not providing that anymore. They don't have the manpower, the resources to provide, competent people with technical support.
Well, that's what happens during tough times,
Absolutely.
The non-revenue producing positions get minimized or cut out.
Well, it's the same with engineering. I mean, a lot of smaller stations, have cut out, or dramatically reduced the amount of engineering time that their engineers can provide. So, they're having them come in and just take care of the absolute necessities, and all the other stuff is just left by the wayside until who knows when things get back to normal.
Do you think that it will get back to normal or no? Do you think how much of what we had is going to remain when this is all done?
That's a good question. And really, I don't have an answer for it. As far as engineering goes, nothing's changed for me. I still come into work every day and do the things that need to be done. Even during the lockdowns, we have to stay on the air. We have to be able to, to inform the public and entertain them, teach them. So, my job was essential. So I was here every day, and our equipment has to be maintained. I have a very rigorous maintenance schedule that I use on my transmitters and studio sites. So none of that ever changed. I mean, it was just day to day for me.
Mm-hmm. So I want to jump in here with a couple of quick questions too, going back to the equipment side of things. So you're using like the Bridget at the homes, people's homes and their for talents to work from home. What else are you using out there? Are you using any mixers or obviously microphones and headsets, of course, but do you have like any processors out there as well, or any?
We generally don't use any type of processing out in the field. We use our internal processing at the studios for,
Okay.
I mean, other than maybe a compressor limiter on a microphone, it's was 99% of everything that we do on a remote basis is voice only. We hardly ever do any music unless we're at a remote site and they have a live band or something like that. Then, that's really about the only music that we ever transmit remotely.
And then with the Bridgets, I'm assuming you're doing like a hardline connection, or are you doing like a wireless router to the Bridget, or what?
Well, we've done both. Personally, I prefer the hardline. Wireless signals tend to fluctuate from time to time, depending on how much bandwidth is being hogged out. So generally, we hardwire all of our stuff, even on remote sites. We have used the VIA on a number of occasions, wireless, and it's done an excellent job. I've had no complaints with it. The latency on those is very minimal, which is great because it's, I know you watch many television broadcasts where the host or the announcer at the studio asks a question, and then the guy out the field standing there, looking around, counting the birds for about a minute until the question gets to him. So it's very annoying, but it's annoying to the average listener too. But latency is a very important aspect of why we use Tieline, because it's just almost instantaneous.
Oh yeah, well that's one of the big benefits of our architecture with the DSP, where we can maintain a low latency infrastructure for our processing or encoding and decoding of the audio streams themselves. But no, that's excellent. So mainly hardwire is how you guys are kind of transmitting, but occasionally you'll throw in like the VIA here or there with some wireless stuff. Who have you guys found in your area to be like the best type of carrier support out there? Or do you guys do like a broadcast specific carrier, or just one of the major 3 wireless providers out there?
Well, we have a very large listening area. Of course, where Buffalo is located, we're right on the edge of a Canadian border. So a lot of our listenership is in the Toronto area, which is, there's a lot of people. Our coverage area probably amasses at least 6 million people. So, it's very, very important that we provide the best product, to the listener that we can. And it's very important that, if we're doing a remote broadcast, that we don't have problems. We don't have dropouts. We don't have digital noise on our system. And the Tieline has answered every issue we've ever had prior to, using the Bridgets. And another good thing too is, at one time, all of our stations were able to receive programming off the KU band. And several of our major markets, such as Buffalo, Denver, Dallas, Los Angeles, we all had uplink capabilities. Well, I don't know if you know about the KU band of satellite, but it's very unreliable. It's, bad weather can greatly deteriorate signals, and airtime is very, very expensive. So we decided that we would use the Bridgets, and all of our facilities, all of Crawford facilities have at least 2 of the Bridget units. And any programming that we sent, uploaded, or downloaded off of the KU band is now received via the Tieline. And it's great that we can originate programming in Denver and send it out to every one of our stations. And crystal clear quality.
Excellent.
What if in a perfect world, Brian, what would your remote home studios look like? Do your people have like the sound installation, and what does it look like there around the Bridgets?
Basically, they depending on how sophisticated you want to get. Of course, I mean, in some instances, it's just it's a USB microphone plugged into a laptop, and it varies from situation to situation. Of course, all of them have the ability to see our next gen log via their computers being feed into the studios. So
right.
They can watch the clock on the automation systems to see how much time they have, and so far it's worked very well. And we have a lot of people that's doing voice tracking, and that's worked very well too.
Mm-hmm. Do you have sports at all? I think in Dallas you may have some sports, but it's
we don't do any sports here at our station in Buffalo, which we don't have much of a sports team to support. Of course, everybody knows about the Buffalo Bills, but I'm not going to get into that. But no, we don't do any news or sports on our station. Just strictly,
okay.
The majority of it is talk.
Right.
Teaching programs during the morning. We have call-in talk shows in the afternoons, weekends. So again, 90% of our programming is strictly talk.
How about on location remote broadcasts? Do you do much of that?
We do a lot of that during the summertime. Of course, this year has, of course, been the exception with the pandemic. But we do a lot in Canada. We have probably the majority of our listeners are Canadian.
Wow.
And it's kind of ironic. The Canadian government does not allow any of their stations to broadcast the type of format that we provide here at Crawford, which is Christian programming. If there is a religious station that's put on the air in Canada, they have to give all religious factors, equal time.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, they don't have just a Christian broadcaster. They also have to do Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, right, through the gamut. So that gives us a pretty unique niche, for the Canadian market. In fact, when the station went on the air in 1963, we were grandfathered in at 110,000 watts, just so that we could adequately cover the Greater Toronto area.
They must love you guys in Canada.
Absolutely, we have a lot of listenership, and a lot of our programmers come out of Canada. So we're very blessed to have that situation and to be able to do what we do. For the longest time, the Canadian cable company, Rogers, Communications carried our station on one of their cable channels, and they realized that what they were doing is kind of against Canadian government's policy. So they pulled us off. In fact, they put on several stations on our same frequency south of Toronto to try to block us out. But these are only 6 kilowatt stations, so we tore them up.
Yeah.
But in order to those areas that they did take away from us, we purchased a directional AM station here in Buffalo. That it goes straight through Toronto, the signal. So any of those areas that couldn't get us on FM can now get us on AM.
Right. Do you see are there any technical issues hurdles that you have to jump for talent that's broadcasting remotely from Canada?
So far, it's the only issues that we've ever run into were internet issues, and mainly it was access issues,
right.
with firewalls and so forth, and sometimes not having the correct people on site to be able to get in and adjust their internet stream so we could be able to broadcast using their internet.
It's one of the first questions we get about the VIA for Canadian users that are using the LTE cards, right, Jake? With the
is access, remote control, and ease of use behind it are definitely some of the key topics behind the VIA for sure. But yeah,
Brian, what other issues are you facing with the pandemic other than remote control? What else can you share with us about some issues that other engineers might find useful?
Well, probably contacting service departments has been one issue that I've run into. A lot of companies have streamlined their technical support departments to where they're only in certain hours of the day, or they've cut personnel down to 1 to 2 people, and those guys are covered up. So you may call and have your call into a queue, but yet it may be 2 days before they ever return your call because they're they're so covered up, and that's been a big issue.
Yeah, you won't get that with us. We respond very quickly. Well, Brian, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your busy day to
my pleasure.
Chat with us.
Thank you, sir.
We wish you continued success and up there in Western New York, and please let us know how we can help you, or kind of between Jacob and I and Brian Harper back at Indy, we will, if you ever have any technical glitches or want to know more about expand the use of your Tieline equipment, we'll help you to do that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I've got to say that Tieline has been a blessing to us. It's helped us in many ways, and it's greatly improved the quality of our broadcast. When we're doing remotes and doing our live show from Rochester to Buffalo, it's just been a blessing to us, and I can't say enough about its consistency and the quality. It's just, it's like the operator standing right here in our studio.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the kind words, and we're glad it's working for you and others. And, we appreciate your business quite a bit. Thank you.
Well, thank you for what you do. It's greatly appreciated on our end too.
All right. Well, enjoy the summer, and, I'm sure we'll chat soon. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Jacob.
Thanks, Brian.